Yep.
hmm
Welcome to the Radical Cruise podcast, where we dig deep to reach high. I am your co-host, Parron Baxter.
I'm your co-host Ram. How you doing?
Well, I would like to start today's episode with happy 35th birthday to my wife. I probably shouldn't have said 35. She's 19 with 20 no, she's 19 with 16 years experience, I think. That's right math.
All right. Well,
No,
happy
yeah, happy
birthday to
birthday to my
her.
wife. She's down in Puerto Rico with Bad Bunny. I guess tonight is his last Puerto Rican show because I don't know if you know he had a residency in Puerto Rico. So tonight is his last night, and it's so yeah, she's down there. Looked really cool. I've been seeing it on TikTok and stuff. It's like he puts on a really good show. Lin-Manuel Miranda was down there. Some of the folks that are on his album popped out, and it looks like it's a good time because it's for the folks of Puerto Rico, right? Like, he has very much anti-colonial music. He pushes back on the love of Puerto Rico, and the well, I think how they pronounce it, orgullosa. I could be wrong, but their pride. So yeah, it looked really cool. Seeing everybody that's like from all over from different cultures that down there. So yeah. The actor from Mad Men, John Hamm, I've come to find out, is a large Bad Bunny fan, and he's hit like multiple Bad Bunny shows. So, hey,
Nice.
her birthday, boo.
Very nice.
What
Um,
about you, man?
nah, it's been this weekend just hanging out with the family, and I would say it's been chill, but been uh it's been a lot going on. So
Yeah.
so the Mayor Burns of Monroe has continued to um be
Lie,
lie, uh, mischaracterize, and is attempting to
threaten,
put
cajole.
target on your back by lying. So, uh, we have reached out to the city council, to himself, emailing exactly outlining the activity has been taking place, and also looking at legal counsel, and making sure that we're logging everything that he's saying, because it quite likely falls under defamation, and violating First Amendment rights with him as a government official, and using his position to go after citizens. So I would say he should tread carefully. But before we jump into it, I know we'll play some context for the folks in a minute here, but I do want to speak directly to the Monroe City Council and Mayor Burns himself in a very professional, amicable way that he doesn't deserve, but something that needs to be heard, and not just by him, but to whomever finds the need to rabidly, attack you and threaten violence. So I'll just kind of start there. Um, so first off, no one deserves to be assassinated by a terrorist with a gun while speaking on campus. Start off with
No.
saying that. But I do want to read off the definition of white supremacy. The mayor does not think he is a white supremacist. And who does? Who identifies as a white supremacist? White supremacy is the belief that white people constitute a superior race and should therefore dominate society, typically to the exclusion or detriment of other racial and ethnic groups. He's shown a history of
Mm,
this. And
right.
this, look at the man that Mayor Burns, who called a hero, a
Mm-hmm.
national treasure, a
Mm-hmm.
generational icon.
Right.
You said, I am Charlie Kirk.
Mm.
So let's remember him by his words.
Okay.
On black people, happening all the time in urban America, prowling blacks go around for fun to target white people. That's a fact. It's happening more and more. On black people, on black pilots, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. On black women, they're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, well, we know you do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to be taken somewhat seriously. on civil rights. We made a huge mistake when we passed the Civil Rights Act in the mid 1960s. Mayor Burns, you praised him without denouncing a single one of these statements. That silence is complicity. You are him, remember? And then you targeted Parron. You claimed he called for your death when the video shows no such thing. I'm gonna put this here and get the right screenshot. Give me 1 second. This dude is calling for my death. So with that, we're going to show that video here in a moment. And then when the video shows no such thing, in response, one of your supporters said, quote, "It's time to start putting niggers in their place or in the ground. We got enough body bags for them, made by Hefty, because it's time to take out the garbage, and we know where to go from here. But every white person needs to have the belly for what needs to be done." Another posted a video of a gun trigger being pulled with Payron's name in the caption. And you never denounced it, not once. It was raised to you on Thursday. It was raised to you on Friday. And the Monroe City Council. You like to call yourself a warrior, someone ready to debate. But since April, we've asked you for dialogue and you ignored us. You called us racist extremists when we interviewed the Supreme Court Justice of North Carolina. As recently as Monday, you said you were in the debating mood, wanting to debate Zohran Mamdani of New York. Thus, I emailed you and again invited you to debate us. Running to the echo chambers of the internet isn't courage, it's cowardice. It turns out you were always a cancel culture keyboard warrior. The FBI has already told you and your friends what the biggest domestic threat terror is: violent white supremacists. Yet, here you are feeding it. That doesn't just make you irresponsible, it makes you part of the threat. So I call on you to apologize to Parron, his family, condemn the threats, every last one, and stop using your government office and role as mayor of Monroe to put private citizens in harm's way. Mayor Burns, you aren't defending this community, you are endangering it, and history will remember the difference.
Powerful stuff, man. That's right. And the thing is, when me and you speak, whether it be on this podcast, whether it be on our videos, whether it be you in the car, whether it be you, the city council, they can't find the lie. They can't spot where we're lying. I'm kind of like nodding, kind of jokingly earlier before we start recording. You're like, stick to the facts. We do, and I think the one time that we didn't, and it was me. I take ownership of that. I was off by like a few degrees, but it's kind of like in the realms. Like, okay, but you know what? We still put out an apology. We still fixed it, and we still moved on.
Yeah, and
We had we
there were bigots that called it out too. It was some
right some
French group.
gay and a gay anti-gay person heard it. But point being
Mhm.
is that as the great Kendrick Lamar Duckworth said, "Don't tell no lies about me, and I won't tell the truth about you." And currently, we have the media running articles about what's transpired since our Thursday show. So just to give people a little kind of an update of what happened since Thursday. Of course, we've seen nationally this kind of response to Charlie Kirk's assassination. A lot of right wingers right now are having very, very big feels because their demographic group they wanted to scapegoat is being uncooperative. Because they wanted to scapegoat some trans, Tifa, feminazi, BLM, burn, loot, murder group as the murder of Charlie Kirk. And as the evidence seems to continually stack up and mount about this shooter, Tyler Robinson, let's put his photo up just to make sure we're not talking about Tyler, the creator. We're not talking about Tyler, songs Wall. We ain't talking about, Christopher Robinson with the Winnie the Pooh. We were talking about Tyler Robinson from Utah, who comes from a conservative family, who's been soaked in gun culture since he was a child. Yeah, could we put? I mean, I like the spatter, but last one, can we get that mug? Can we get his mug shot up? Let's get Tyler Robinson's mug shot up because I think it's easy. Yes, we're going to paint that picture that again, the threats to this country that they so love to proclaim to be, in defense of is them. But Tyler Robinson, um, there. Here we go. Here's his mugshot. So if you guys are watching, or if you're not listening, this is a white man. He does like he's very melanin deficient. It's like the sun gives him a tough time. He thinks mayonnaise is spicy. I'm quite sure. And he comes from a very conservative household. His grandmother said that his father is a strong Republican and MAGA supporter. In fact, she doesn't see anybody in the family that is a Democrat. Couldn't even throw a rock to hit a Democrat within that family. And just because his voter registration is listed as unaffiliated, that's also a ridiculous kind of like, well, so he's not a registered Republican. But I guarantee you, if you ask this person who they voted for last year, I severely doubt it was the half Jamaican immigrant and half Indian daughter of immigrants, Kamala Harris, who's a woman. I severely doubt that, who's in an interfaith marriage. Something tells me that is not who Tyler Robinson supports. Because people, and I'm looking at his dad here, and I'm gonna be honest to you. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how you feel about this, but anytime I see these type of shirts like his dad got on with the American flag on the sleeve, like guys in my gym always wear those type of shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always concerned. I am always concerned because the American flag to them has always meant something very different to me. As someone who studies history and someone who studies what this means, seeing those type of shirts, those are those there's like I said, the left genuflex. Those genuflect to the right. Those genuflect to the right that if it's time to round them up, I'm here. So then more news that came out, or at least they were finding out through his internet footprint, is that he's probably of the Groyper camp. Um, uh, which is the Nick Fuentes arm of the right wing. So Nick Fuentes, overt, devout white supremacist, and we always like to say it's hard to find somebody who calls himself a white supremacist. Nick Fuentes calls himself a neo-Nazi. He said 6 million Jews aren't enough. He is all for the killing of black people, just like Charlie Kirk was for the killing of black people. But he's even more extreme than Charlie Kirk. And years ago, they were going back and forth. They were beefing. And we forget, ironically, Laura Loomer recently put a target on Charlie Kirk's back, saying that he's turned away from Trump. And this is the same person Robert Burns is running to get his profile elevated about someone who, again, made a video about Charlie Kirk and didn't mention his name at all. So I think it's very ironic that he's running to the person that helped put a target on the back of Charlie Kirk for some sort of defense.
Mm-hmm.
But Nick Fuentes is definitely a racist piece of shit. If you guys don't remember, he had Thanksgiving dinner with Trump. Was it 2020? That Thanksgiving or something like that with Kanye West. I mean, he's a terrible piece of shit. So, yeah, Tyler Robinson fits a larger
And
pattern.
we and on Thursday, on our Thursday episode, we also pointed out, and this is before we knew who the shooter was. We did point out that there was Laura Loomer had a falling out with Kirk,
Hmm.
and basically said that he wasn't extreme enough, and
Hmm.
she had taken it down. So we had actually put that article up before they even found out that this was it. So, again, these signs are on the wall, these trends are on the wall. We've talked about these in plenty of episodes, saying this is where things are headed. We've
Yep.
connected the dots. You said
Hmm.
white supremacists are the biggest threat to America, the biggest terrorist threat to America. We continue to see the
Oh,
trends of who these shooters are. We talk repeatedly about the shooters are always male. Like 98% of all gun violence is shooters are male. Mass shooters or these random killings, these are typically white male in this context, right? So we've put together these, we put together
I
these.
just sent you something. Sorry, but
Mhm.
continue. I sent you something that actually you might want to pull this up as you're saying your point. I'm sorry. Continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we put we've started putting these things together, right? And there's the trend is there, and so these people. like Robert Burns, are continuing to feel the exact same fire. Now, see, Bobby Burns doesn't understand in this video. He thinks you're saying to come that you want his death. No, Bobby, we're telling you that you are saying the same type of rhetoric that is causing violence in America, not just Charlie Kirk,
Right.
this other stuff, but you, and I've told you repeatedly, Bobby Burns, you're either incompetent or you're
Mm.
dishonest. It's both, and it is both, and I don't know which one it is because you're slow. You're not smart. You're not a smart man. You take your
No.
cues from the internet. You take your cues from Trump. You're not a thought leader.
Mm-mm.
You
A
you
thought follower.
you're a follower, and so I actually do not know the difference if you can tell what you're saying. You really might not have the awareness, the self consciousness. Damn sure don't have the education. So I don't know, but either way, it's dangerous and it's wrong. So should I pull this up? What do we got here?
Yeah, I just sent you a graph.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, yeah.
And this was yeah. So, the folks over at Michael Harriot, who wrote the book Black AF History, a fantastic historian, they crunched the numbers of political violence from 2015 to now, and who commits it. What do they look like? Now, even if you can't read this, if you guys can't zoom in, you'll see there is an extremely large swath of the pie chart, and that is white people. And it's over 50%. And then you have unknown, which is about 18%. And then black people, which is about 11%. And then you have Latino, about 7%. Asian Pacific Islander, 3%. And then other, 3%. Now, Michael said that if you take out that unknown, like, and you kind of spread that out and get more, you dig into it, he's like, that white number actually
Disproportional.
it
Yeah,
gets a lot bigger,
yeah.
right? So we have to understand that Bobby Burns is a part of that red swath. And they want you to believe, and that's why he's picking on me. That's why he's trying to use me as his avatar, because the horrendous murder of the Aranya, what's her name, and Charlotte,
I know.
was a man that looked like me. He's black, he had locks, and he's trying to say that, look, they're coming here, they're here, they're violent, they're threat. I mean, the thing is, well, when white people lie, black people die. Word to Carolyn Dunham Bryant with Emmett Till. Word to what happened in Rosewood. Word to the bird watching folks up in the NYC. With the word to barbecue Becky. Word to permit Patty. It's word to our lived experiences dealing with white women, right, or dealing with white people. When they lie, we die. When they lie, we get fried. When they lie, we get jailed. When they lie, we get surveilled. And this is a man that at this point, I think he has taken his hands completely off the wheel intellectually. If they ever were on the wheel, where he is now so he is inhaling the fumes of his own stench, and he's getting high off it. And just because there's a cadre of other hateful white supremacists on the internet, as you said so eloquently, Ron, he thinks that emboldens him to be right. But we know about the thing about white supremacy, the behavior patterns of white supremacy and the behavior patterns of narcissism. The Venn diagram of those two things is a perfect circle. Never taking accountability, always projecting all the ills onto other people, always being the victim, but yet also the hero at all times, right? Patriots come together. This random black guy who's
Yeah.
a private citizen is trying to kill me. But I'm the strong. We're the strong. I'm the strong. I'm 1776. Don't tread on me. I'm the alpha bro. And I'm supposed to sit here while this white racist man lies on me over. And I just want to just reduce it because we're going to get into kind of what happened even locally. I guess we can get to that now, actually.
Well,
Go ahead.
well, no, I was just gonna say, like, and this just came in about 15-20 minutes ago. Um, he's still feeling the fire. So, and we're gonna play the video because, as
Right.
I said, he
So what does it say here
um
for folks who can't see it?
So it basically says, so this man Gunther Eagleman, I believe his name is, who's this again one of these far right Looney Tunes. Attention,
Hmm.
everybody! I would like you to meet Eric Travis. He is a teacher at Fairfax High School in Los Angeles. He is openly and unabashedly calling for the killing of Republicans. Far right assholes, and this is a quote that they're quoting him. Far right assholes have a target on their backs and deserve to die. 1 million, one down, millions to go. Very inflammatory,
Very much so.
very wrong statement.
And
I
folks,
would,
if you can't see,
I
it's
would,
a white man. That's a very white man statement. Ain't no black
and
folks making that statement.
I condemn that statement absolutely. Right, like
Absolutely.
that is absolutely insane. That is an insane statement.
That's
This
an
man
insane thing to say.
deserves. He actually probably not only deserves to be fired, he deserves to be prosecuted.
Yes. Right.
But here comes Mayor Burns with this inflammatory statement. He decides to say, "Same with this guy." Parron Baxter, the Union County Democratic Party has doubled down. You, as a private citizen, you, as a volunteer in a non leadership role in the Union County Democratic Party, he's not only putting a target on your back, he's putting a target on the Union County Democratic Party, saying that this is the same with this guy. And you know what? We're coming for you legally because that's insane.
It's crazy, man. It's like, and what's his source? His source is himself. His source is, bro, is check my other post, which proves what I'm saying now. I mean, if it was that easy to substantiate what you're saying, like, but that's what is in white supremacy. You don't have to ever have facts, data, trends. And we
And
forget that we forget that fascism is feelings. Right. They feel like the black people are coming after them. They feel like the women are getting uppity. They feel like the queers are transing their kids. They feel like there's kitty boxes in the schools. They feel like there's a welfare queen leeching the system. But the thing is, all those feelings they have, all those beliefs they have. Heather McGee, who wrote the book, The Sum of Us, she was doing a panel years ago, and this quote she says always stuck with me. She says, everything that we believe was told to us by somebody else. She said, everything that we believe, and excuse me, everything that we believe in contrast to things that we know, right? So things that have been tested multiple times through the scientific method to get the exact same response, to get the exact same outcome, a fact. Everything that we believe, all beliefs, are because someone else told them to us. Because when you were born, you didn't just believe in Christianity. Someone had to tell you that story. And then you believe in it. But you don't believe in Christianity the same way you believe in gravity, right? Gravity has been scientifically proven to exist. Now, fascism works with inside that delta, where it's saying that things that are true to them because they believe it, like the in their minds the scientific reality of race, there's genetic indicators within inside of DNA that prove that I'm a different type of a person than he is, or that prove that there are only two genders, even though these are all social constructs. And gender ideology to them being taught in schools is just saying that the gay people exist. When in reality, gender ideology is saying that women are supposed to work in the house, men are supposed to be. That's a gender ideology, construct role, but they don't understand that, and so they're just using words to just basically propagandize their points. Which who did that? Charlie Kirk when he was alive. There was nothing
he's
that Charlie Kirk did you could ever show Charlie Kirk that would get him to say, "Oh, I didn't consider that." And that's where they are, and it's what Kwame Ture said. Your oppressor just doesn't want you ignorance; he wants you to love ignorance and reject intelligence. And that is exactly what we're dealing with here. People who are embracing their ignorance in exchange for their insecurity. They're exchanging. Let me open up my heart. Let me open up my mind. Let me open up my eyes. Let me open up my ears. Maybe my grandpa was wrong. Maybe my church pastor from when I was 10 was wrong. Maybe that church counselor was wrong. Maybe the police officer was wrong. Maybe the president of the United States with 34 felonies and has been credibly found civilly liable for sexual assault and who is actively hiding a pedophile ring with high profile, powerful people is wrong.
yeah, they're feeding into those words, as you said, those those trigger words, those things that get attention, and these people do not understand what they're talking about beneath the surface. They call
No,
people socialists. They call people communists. They call people all kinds of, and they don't even know what they're talking about. They don't even know what a
no,
fascist. They don't know what anything of those things are.
no.
And so I want to point out the fact that Burns and this whole ecosphere of right wing nuts, and a lot of
Mm,
Republicans, not normal, who you would think are normal Republicans, have they're now turning their anger to, you know, black people, turning their anger to people of color because we or multiple people did not mourn Charlie Kirk's death. I don't care that Charlie Kirk is dead, but what
no.
you so why? But that's my freedom of speech to say that, right? I have a heart full of empathy, but I do not have a heart full of empathy for somebody who does not give a shit about me and who would not, who would rather see me dead. Is the way I see it. And however, they have now turned that anger, because it doesn't fit into these, these the propagandized pictures, these profiles they want to create. It's not a trans person, it's not a, brown, Middle Eastern person,
Immigrant,
it's not an
right?
immigrant, it's not a black person. And they refuse to look inward. They don't look at, they don't consider guns. And yeah, I've always been an
Nope.
advocate of gun control. You have to question if gun
Gun
control is
safety, right? Because even that language, like we need to start calling it gun safety, right?
sure, sure. And so, they sorry, now I lost my train of thought. But
But you always been an advocate. You always been an advocate for gun safety, gun control, right?
yeah, but they don't want to actually look at, hey, there's this trend
No.
of white men, usually between the ages of, I believe, like 16 and 22. In this case that we're talking about, right, in this context of mass shootings, random shootings, assassinations. And so I've pictured, up here, I don't think I can pull up the mouse. However, um, the first is, the top left is the shooter, Tyler Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
who assassinated Charlie Kirk, murdered Charlie Kirk. And
Cold
he is,
blood.
again, raised by MAGA. He's
Mm-hmm.
unaffiliated, registration. However, he's raised by MAGA.
Come on.
Um, I don't know what to tell you. Like, regardless, and I
Right.
told you on Thursday. I told you on Thursday. I don't know if it really matters who it is at this point in this country. Like, this all this gun violence and all of this extremism and all of this turning up the temperature. That's American. And but however, here we go. We see who it is now, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
we talked about this on Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I don't have his name in front of me, but he is the shooter from the Evergreen, in I believe high school in
In Denver,
Colorado,
Colorado. Mm-hmm.
which happened, moments
The
after,
same hour.
yeah, same hour as Charlie Kirk was shot, right? He shot, I think, two or three people. They all survived, thankfully. If you kill some people, they found out he was also a radicalized, right wing extremist. You have down here at the left,
Who was also anti-Semitic and held violent views in online accounts. Just so, and his name was uh, a 16-year-old Desmond Holly.
Desmond Holly, thank you. And then you have, on the bottom left, you have Ryan Ruth, who was the second,
Yeah, that's
attempted
right.
assassin of Donald Trump. I guess
Mm-hmm.
he was nearby Mar-a-Lago, had a
Yep.
gun ready to go. He also was a disaffected, MAGA and previous Trump voter. You then have in the
And I want to
middle,
say, and I think he had a slight story about him too. Didn't he also like try to go to Ukraine or something? Like, or he tried to go to some place where there's like kinetic war going on, or maybe it was to Israel, or it was somewhere like I can't remember specifically, but that was also part of his backstory where he was trying to make himself feel like I'm probably a badass or something. Because I remember the news was reporting on that. I mean, granted, grain of salt, but
right. Then in the middle, you have, bottom middle, you have Robin Westman,
hmm
who I believe, was identified as trans, and this person,
but by their standards,
by standards, it doesn't exist. She's a man,
So that'd be a white
right?
man. That'd be a white man, right?
It's again coming in from the house. Okay, so and then we got the last person here.
And then the last thing on Tyler, if I'm not mistaken, also a deconstructed neo-Nazi. Maybe deconstructed neo-Nazis who then transition aren't the best representatives of the trans community. You know what I mean? Like using these people who have backgrounds that are violent and steeped in fascism and white supremacy, and then they all of a sudden become trans. Almost to me, it's almost like the Covenant School shooter, were like the transness of them or their non-binary. It was the Club Q shooter where he said he's non-binary because he just almost like a suicidal, like, I'm going to try to pull these people down as I try to take these people out, right? Like I'm going to smear them as I do a mass shooting. I'm going to smear them and say I'm non-binary. And like that's what we have to look out for too, because sometimes it gets reported as like, man, these trans folks killing everybody. But if you only have so much time in the day and you're seeing, a trans person here a couple years ago, supposedly a trans person in, Tennessee, then supposedly someone in the Club Q shooting, and that's all you see. Now, mind you, we just showed the graph of who commits political violence, who kills people without a reason, and 55% on the conservative level are white people. And we're still looking at they're still running the clips over and over and over again of the Charlotte train.
Yep. And then the last person, Thomas Matthew Crooks, who
Ah,
Trump says has shot him in the ear.
don't hear him at all. Don't hear about
Um,
him no more.
Barely heard about him when after it happened because
It's
he
true.
was also a right wing.
Ah, damn it.
And so I don't show that. I don't show that these pictures to paint a picture of all gun violence is perpetrated by white men. We just saw the graph. That's not true.
Correct.
Almost pretty much all, virtually all gun violence is perpetrated by men, which I also
Yep.
repeatedly call out all the time. But I do paint the picture of these type of shooters in the context of these type of shooters and the ones that are actually, they're rabidly looking for that. Oh well, they donated to Barack Obama in 2008 or whatever it may be. There or he had his hair colored purple one semester, or he walked into a women's bathroom once. Like they look for whatever they can hold on to and cling on to. I think this latest shooter who killed Charlie Kirk, said his bullet said something about "catch this fascist," right? And some song that's associated with him. Well, first off, I didn't even know what a gripper was until this week. But apparently that's part of that ecosphere of both of those things, right? So, and like I said, I don't really care where they identify with politically, um, because one, all this violence is crazy, but two, the trend is there, right? And so it continues to be this trend after trend and trend. Once women start shooting up people, we're really screwed. I'll tell you that much. If women start shooting people, I don't know what to tell you, because we have to ask yourselves that we always talk about, well, guns aren't the issue or it's mental health. Well, why is it only boys and men? Why? Did you ever actually say, like, here's the biggest glaring statistic that 98% of gun violence is committed by men, but we don't say, well, you know what, maybe we should, let's just put men on hold until we figure out what's going on. Let's stop putting guns in men's hands until we can figure out what's going on. No one ever says that, right?
Yeah, it's funny too because the graph that we showed earlier about the 55%. But if you think about it, also Michael Harriot's graph, he did not include the numbers of January 6th. He said that would make that graph explode
Mm,
the to make it like this all white men, right? So there's this level of like, and that's political violence. And they try to say, well, look at Chicago, look at Charlotte, look at Pittsburgh. Not just basic intracommunal violence or like, someone robbed somebody. That, yes, that is bad. We do not condone that. But that is not the same thing as committing acts of political intimidation, acts of political threatening, the acts of political violence, which all that by definition is terrorism. When you commit violence for a religious or political purpose, definitionally is terrorism, right? Like if the same reason Al Qaeda wants to kidnap someone or bomb someone, it's the same reason why people are getting bomb threats at HBCUs. It's the same reason people are saying we need the white people, again, a completely made up concept. I have to repeat that as much as I possibly can. I know people want to be, oh, it's made up. But to get people to invest in it is almost like as a consolation prize for not being a part of the land owning wealthy white men. What could they do? Because if you think about it historically, you could kill black people as a white man to like the 1960s and like get away with it. You know what I mean? Like that was very, 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 very common, very
And
hard for a white man to be convicted of murdering
well,
a black person.
and it was celebrated. It
It was
was a
celebrated, right?
spectacle. It was a
Like
spectacle. You
there
know.
was a story in the 1920s, I remember in Texas of, well, I don't remember, but I read about it in a book called On Juneteenth, where a man named Bob White, this black man, he was messing with this white girl who believed herself to be a girl who believed herself to be white. And they went to the forest and they were kissing. You know, they weren't, I don't think they were having sex. They were just kissing. Found by her brothers.
Mhm.
They beat him, drug him out of the forest, threw him in jail, beat him in jail. They put him in front of the judge the very next day or very short after. It's been a couple years since I read the book with the story, but it's still here. As he's in his trial, facing the judge, an all-white jury, all-white prosecution, all-white defense of this crime of race mixing. Right? Think about what he's in jail for. He's in jail for just kissing a white girl. Her brother stands up while he's facing the judge and blows the back of his head out.
Mm.
His brother got to go home and was never charged, and he was cheered on. So when we talk about this, make America
Yeah.
great again, I'm not racist, but I don't care if black people get killed. Charlie Kirk didn't do nothing to you. George Floyd deserved it. It's all within that same paradigm because at the end of the day, Charlie Kirk did harm my community. And I've countless white people prove it. Show me. Tell me. What did he say? That's just willful blindness, right? That's not my fault. Like you have access to Instagram, you ain't got access to Google. Um, but yes, so now we have people who are a part of that same rabid base, that same just right, same people that would take lynching culture was so systematic. People want to think that like lynching was just a few guys pull someone out of a bar, they were too drunk, and then of course they had to lynch this black person. No, let me tell you about lynching culture. This picture here is really, really emblematic because think about January 6th. Terrorists love to record themselves. Look at this picture. Think about January 6th. They were taking selfie videos. Yeah, storm the Capitol. Get her. Nancy Pelosi, pull her out by her cunt hairs. All that shit. They're proud of their shit. Think about the Israelis right now. They're taking pictures of themselves in dead Palestinian women's undergarments. They're playing with the toys of children they just killed. They are gleeful. They always take pictures of themselves.
I mean, they were chanting "Hang Mike Pence."
Hang Mike Pence. Terrorists always. But let me tell you about the culture of a time. Of this time, when a lynching would be notified to the public, what would happen was they would let people get off work early. They would let kids get out of school early. They would change bus routes so people could come from other towns to come view it. There would be specials on menus of local restaurants for people who are in town to see the lynching. And there would be people that would stay to hope to get the souvenirs of who they just lynched. Now, what would be a souvenir to lynching? The penis, the skin, the toes, the hair, a tooth, a piece of charred flesh. Femur bones were one of the most famous collectibles from lynchings. And then they would stand in front of a camera with their children and smile and take a picture of it and then put that on a postcard. So when people would act like lynching was just like three or four guys, and then lynching is just a public brutal act. It's not always on a rope. It's not. It's just you could like there's
Yeah.
people got lynched without being killed. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So somebody in the chat, they want me to, I guess after all these, 5 people I went through, um,
Hmm.
they got upset because they said, "What is your source? Crooks was right wing." So let me just clarify. Crooks,
My God,
what he was a
that shirt.
he was a registered Republican who made a
Oh,
donation. He donated donation to a Democratic aligned organization. So yeah, he made a donation to Progressive Turnout Project, $15. So just I don't know if it mattered. Like it doesn't matter to me. That's not
No, it
my that
doesn't.
he's not
The
brought up in
trend that
households that look like mine.
the trend I'm looking at is that these are white men with access to high-powered firearms that commit acts of political violence against politicians and people who have political adjacent, agendas. What do you want me to do about that? You need to go get a handle on the white community. But the thing is, you've never had a community. You don't have a community. So you don't know how to talk to yourself. You don't understand why are we so upset? We are upset because we don't have anything to, rally around. We don't have any sort of culture because you had to exchange that away for the promise of whiteness. So now you're sitting here, these boys who were told this country's for you. You don't even have to graduate from high school. Charlie Kirk saying you don't have to go to college. He was a dropout because a man who was 80 years old and his partners gave him millions of dollars at 18 years old to start up Turning Points USA because guess what? Young people don't want to hear about conservatism from an 80-year-old man, but they will listen to an 18-year-old. So he was a propagandist. So when I tell people they're propagandists because he's not rooted in facts and he's out there to just spread the lies, the unchecked lies, and so that could be into the fertile minds of young people, so they can continue that on, and that can proliferate into their towns, cities, and states, and then across the country. That's what a propagandist does. That's what Joseph Goebbels does. People won't say Charlie Kirk. He did. Ezra Klein had this bullshit article. That Charlie Kirk did politics right. He wasn't. He didn't do politics right. He was a propagandist. That's like saying Joseph Goebbels did politics right. Just because you're effective doesn't mean you are good at doing politics.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about it this episode, but it is. I would like to explore like this whole Kirk has this formula for bringing in the youth. So he was doing things that were great.
The white youth. Yeah.
Exactly, but he was doing it while spewing hatred, racism, and bigotry. But you're okay with it. And I want to play this clip, and I want to point out one thing I've learned through Facebook friends and people on the internet this week is that because Charlie Kirk was cloaked in this Christian love for Jesus and God and the Christian word, and he could recite passages. Because of that, he was a great man. It didn't matter that he said these racist things. It didn't matter that he is a bigot. It didn't matter that he said it was okay for people to be shot, and that's just not a deal breaker. As long as you're holding a Bible, I don't have mine next to me, but if you're holding a Bible, and you're citing some scripture, you're absolved. You're
I just
absolved
sent you
of the
something to add to your point.
complicity. You're
Pull this up to your point.
um
It's the same point you're making right now. I just sent you something.
yeah
Holding the Bible. And as long as you're doing that, clearly you're on the up and up. Like Charlie Kirk, you're holding a Bible. You're Christians.
Yeah, I mean, if you're burning, if you're outside somebody's house in a robe with a gun and a
Cowards.
Molotov cocktail, hey, we
Hmm.
have a cross, so hey, it's all good.
They're in a church. It says Jesus behind
Uh,
them.
yeah, and so
They're
that's
Christians.
that's what I've learned, and that's what I've learned about, and to a degree, like I'm like I know this, but damn, like I'm still naive. I'm still
Yep.
naive of like how entrenched and ingrained and white supremacy is and racism
That's
is
right.
and
That's right.
violence is, and to them it
That's
does not
okay.
matter because
Mm-mm.
Jesus is on their side. Jesus loves America. I
That
mean, it's
Palestinian Jew is on their side.
it's in the Bible. So Jesus loves America is in the Bible, right?
It's in there. It's in the back. You gotta like it's in the index. You gotta look for America.
All right, so
But
let's
let's
see.
but real
I
quick,
want
just
to.
for
I want to play that
what are you
video.
gonna
So
play? Because I just want to at least play my video to be like just
that's the
this
one.
this point. Let's find the threat
Yes.
to this 59-year-old. I can't tell how old white people are. This how old this 78-year-old man is. This I can't tell. But let's find the threat.
All right, here we go.
Let me tell y'all a story. This man right here, whose face looks like a set of inflamed and swollen testicles, is the sitting mayor of Monroe, North Carolina. He's not just some dude. He holds power. He holds a pen. His name is Robert Burns. He is a bigot. He is a white supremacist. He is a fascist. He is a transphobe. He is all the isms and ogenies. He is MAGA through and through. And when the news broke of Charlie Kirk's passing, I reacted like most black people with conscience. We just didn't care. Because Charlie Kirk himself was a bigot, sexist, homophobe, racist, transphobic, you name it. But it didn't stop there. Because after I responded like most black people, as I said, the sitting mayor of Monroe, North Carolina, Robert Burns, Bobby Coinflip, as we call him because he won on the coin flip, he then posted about me to dox me or to get his racist, ginned-up base to get angry at me, to get me fired, to get me some sort of reprimand because I didn't fall over myself for a white supremacist who said I should not have the same rights as himself and Charlie Kirk.
Why did you say that the civil rights bill should be overturned?
I didn't say that. I said it was a mistake.
Why? That's crazy.
Now you gotta figure it out.
I wouldn't be here. That's trouble.
Who's that?
Now, I've been doing this for a while, so I'm used to racist white people being racist white people towards me. I have a certain look about me, I have a certain aesthetic, and I have never minced the truth for anybody who comes in front of me. So one thing we know about white supremacy is that it hates Amir. But one of the people who responded to this, again, inflamed ball sacks post was this guy who said that this N-word should be in a hefty bag. Now, the people who are pro-life, do you think that they are going to condemn this? Do you think the sitting mayor of North Carolina will condemn this? Absolutely not, they won't. Because they absolutely agree with this, that uppity Negroes who hold a mirror up to white supremacy, which it hates, absolutely need to be put in their place or in the ground. I then called the police on this. Do I believe in the police? Not at all. But just in case one of these crazy lunatics here in Union County feel like we got to put that N-word in the ground. This is the legacy of Charlie Kirk. White feelings rooted in nothingness, hollowness, hatred, envy, jealousy, and anger. Hubris. Can't wait to kill an N-word. That's Charlie Kirk's legacy. So when someone tries to gaslight you that you aren't falling over yourself to care about a literal white supremacist who would not pull his 2-inch dick out to piss on you if you were on fire, remember, these are the people who are all around you. And to the people here locally, here in Union County, who are sitting here still trying to make common cause with white supremacists, you too are cowards. You are unsafe for my community. And those of us in my community that want to do business with people like Robert Burns and want to normalize him, Mayor Burns, he's a fucking fascist. He's a fucking fascist. They have no unique ideas. They offer nothing. And if you think you agree with him on things like LGBTQ rights because you personally also hate that, you too are a useful idiot within the system of white supremacy. You do not want liberation for black people, even if you're black, because guess what? There's black queer people. So fuck Robert Burns and fuck Charlie Kirk. Let me tell y'all a story.
Right, so so this is okay. Let me just pull up where this was his response to that video.
Mm-hmm.
This dude is calling for my death. So
did you catch it, Ron?
He says, Parron Baxter doubles down. No, I didn't catch it. And he didn't either. He put a video of you and he sped it up and he told his followers, and his followers were just like, they went out like rabid dogs. And then they proceeded to post a video of somebody pulling a gun, pulling the trigger with the clicking sound.
Well, we know that they're trying to say that was me doing that.
Well, they're dumb. Like
they're trying to say,
yeah, and
they're trying to say that was me trying to kill myself. I'm like, so am I trying to kill myself, or I'm on this Twitter thread being witty back and forth with you? Which one is it?
And so he says, wait a second. Parron Baxter doubles down on this video and says all things that got Charlie Kirk killed, being a white supremacist, racist, homophobe, and as Robert Burns is, this dude is calling for my death. He's not a critical thinker. He's trying to connect these dots that don't exist. He is, exactly like you said, trying to gin up his racist base, and that's what he's doing. And I would say he's actually doing it effectively, thanks to well, obviously this rabid conservative right wing Republicans. I wouldn't even call them nut jobs. I would say a large swath of them.
They're all it's a fascist movement.
But
That's what it is.
also
Yeah.
the media, WCNC Charlotte, right? Haven't
Yeah.
like
So they had a statement. Can you pull that up? Just not even the clip, but just I don't know if the clip's even on TV yet. But let's pull that up because in between time, the Union County Democratic Party put out a statement. I don't even know what that statement's at anymore. I thought I had. Do you have that statement?
I believe
Anything on your
it's
phone?
I believe it's
I don't
yeah,
think
it's right here. So
it's inside of the.
yeah.
It's embedded.
Mhm.
Okay, so just give you a little some context here. Let's pull that up. So this is what there we go. The union kind, and this is what Robert Burns says is it's not good enough, and I need to bend over. I need to apologize to a white supremacist, and if I don't, then it proves that we're violent, radical left, Marxist, socialist, trans, Tifa, BLM, feminazis.
Yeah, so the way that this played out, I'll give you people can read it if they want. You can Google it. But the Union County Democratic chair, the current sitting one, Jen Sanders, basically outlined it and said she reached out to the first vice chair of the Union County Republican Party to emphasize the need to bring the temperature down, in which she then contacted him later in the evening. Instead of engaging in dialogue, Mr. Dunn chose to escalate by attacking her personally and attacking the Democratic Party. And she basically pointed out that she was trying to have a constructive phone call, model leadership. And basically the Union County, they laid it out. They said, to be clear, at no point did Mr. Baxter threaten Mr. Burns. What began as a disagreement taken by Mr. Burns to his public X account, where he tagged extremist accounts, leading to online harassment and violent threats towards Mr. Baxter. Strangers online attempted to locate his address and target him with racial slurs and threats. You are now a volunteer of the North Carolina Democratic Party. You have no paid position. You have your own thoughts and you have always expressed them. And, as an individual, you do not represent. They have been trying very hard to find and even if you were like, your words would be the same. I know. I know you, right? There's nothing that you said was wrong. And some people say, well, I don't like that he danced on the grave. Well, that's, or whatever it was, that's your prerogative. You didn't say you wanted him dead. You didn't say that you were glad he died. We've talked about Charlie Kirk maybe once this is our 53rd episode. I think we've talked about Charlie Kirk once. We haven't cared about Charlie Kirk to that point.
No.
I think the only time we brought him up was when he went on, when Gavin Newsom, I think, had him on his podcast, and we called him out. We don't care what he was saying. We weren't sitting there saying like this man needs to die. Like we were calling for his death.
No.
And so not only did you get just finish this letter. Not only did you get threats, they started calling the Democratic Party. You have 70-year-old women, older women working in the office, getting scared to death because, and this is in Monroe. The office is in Monroe. And this is because of the mayor, the sitting mayor, the elected official who won with 27% of the vote in a coin flip because of a tie. This is him sending random internet people, the worst of the worst in Union County, after you and Democratic Party members and people who have nothing to do with anything. And basically they're receiving death threats. They're worried for their lives. They're worried for their safety. Right. And because he made up some shit, because he's pissed, because I don't know, because you called him a white supremacist, because he can't actually have a conversation or a dialogue with you, or anyone for that matter.
He doesn't want to as well.
Behind, and he jumps on this thing of like, he spent his whole day Friday just tagging all these people being a little pick me, because he can't get attention from Donald Trump that way. So he's working so hard. He's found his two people. I felt the other person in Mecklenburg County. He's going after them too because they're I believe she's a lesbian teacher, right? As
a mayor of another. I don't live in his city, nor does that person. But as a mayor of another city would do.
Instead of trying to turn down the temperature
better the lives of people in Monroe, at least try to do that.
But he instead about an hour ago now, basically again, he says, so this gentleman Gunther Eagleman, I want to reiterate, he is openly and unabashedly calling for the killing of Republicans. And
Not good.
Robert Burns said, same with this guy, Parron Baxter. The Union County Democratic Party has doubled down. So,
Source, trust me, bro.
and again, I don't know. I know he's incompetent. I know he's dishonest. I know he's a liar. But you can never really tell which one it is because he
It
might
doesn't make
believe
him
it.
any less
He might
dangerous.
believe it. It
It
does
don't
not
make
make
him any
it
less
might
dangerous.
exactly, and I'm not exactly, and it does not make him any less dangerous. You cannot
I've
you cannot blame ignorance.
no.
But you know what? I do believe you're being malicious, and you know why? Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. Why? Because you remember how? Okay, so you posted your video with that video we just watched, right?
Yep.
And you talked about your look. People said, well, um,
No.
yeah,
Can't be.
let me see how I can get this video showing.
No.
Give me 1 second here.
He doesn't see locks.
Yeah,
I don't see locks.
yeah. So let's see, give me 1 second. Okay. And get this media player up. So here's what I've noticed on his Twitter, and I sent this to you, and this was not my mistake, but I'll let you see for yourself. So here's him posting you.
Good looking guy.
Again, wait, going back to, he's here. He's been a pick me to Laura Loomer, who says
Who put the target
on Charlie
on
Kirk's
the back
back.
of Charlie Kirk.
And who has said way outrageous shit. This is who he pals around with. This is who he looks up to. This is where he gets his cues from. And he said, he talked about some other person, right? He said, "Great work. Now time to do the same with Parron Baxter," right? And then look what he did right before he posted this. Right before he posted this, and I checked the timestamps. It's within 1 minute.
Okay. Oh,
look at this.
Wait a minute.
This is somebody who was arrested in Charlotte yesterday.
Oh,
within 1 minute. Within 1 minute, does he look a little? I'm not like he look the resemblance. So
wait a minute.
They think you all look the same, right?
Oh, that's right.
We all look the same, right? Like so.
Right. I got the tattoos. Yeah. I mean, come on.
All right. Well, that was posted 1 minute before. Right.
They're coming after me. They're coming. Look, they're all imports from the liberal bastion, Charlotte, North Carolina.
So to say that he's doing this out of ignorance, no, he's doing it out of maliciousness, and he's being very intentional. And we again have the receipts, we have the trends to prove that this is a trend.
Right, white people who are committing political violence. This is political violence. Don't forget, but just real quick, it always starts with language, people. Before they genocided them, they called them savages. Before they enslaved them, they called them uncivilized. Before they pushed them into gas chambers, they called them rats. This is no different. And me pointing out his behavior pattern, like fascism, racism, homophobia, is different than him saying all people who look like this and all people that do these things, or they insinuate that, right? Because they're cowardly. They never explicitly say all black people, but there's a reason that they're pounding that drum. There's a reason he posted that picture within a minute and then posted me. There's a reason why he doesn't care that Tyler Robinson blew a hole in the neck of his favorite propagandist. There's a reason he wants this. And the last thing I'll say is this. These people are cowards. I've said this multiple times on this show.
Absolutely.
They're
biggest
all
cowards. The pussies. 100%.
Biggest pussies and biggest cowards. And
they're using... Go ahead, sorry.
They're using language like civil war. It's a war. Because war has the kind of like, the veneer and polish of like, oh, two sides battling it out, might versus right, this side versus that side, brothers fighting each other. They don't want a civil war. What they really want is a purge. That's what they want. They want, what did I say? Before the 1960s, it was actually very, 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 very difficult to prosecute a white man for killing a black man. Yeah. That was their consolation prize for being the poor white community, as LBJ said. If you get the poorest white man to believe he's better than the best black man, you can pick his pockets all day. Hell, give him someone to look down on, and they'll turn their pockets inside out for you. Their consolation was our system, where we're the judges and we're the police officers and we're the lawyers, is that you can ultimately kill these Negroes. And that's what they want to get back to. And that's why I'm sitting here. Well, he's a Christian. Again, we have to separate
Yeah,
morality from religiosity. We have to understand that this is the movement that has happened since the time of the Redeemers. Because before there was MAGA, it was the Redeemers after the ending of enslavement. And this is when we passed the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. Which honestly, when you ask historians and people to study this, they would say that's really the beginning of America right there. Because that's when we were able to attain more progress. This is when we got close to the 19th Amendment to allow white women to vote, right? So then MAGA, it just changes. The thing about racism, it doesn't die. It just sheds its skin like a snake.
so, again, instead of focusing on this group where the killer of Charlie Kirk came from, they choose to focus on HBCUs, black colleges.
That's right.
They shoot death threats to HBCUs who had nothing to do with this. They choose to focus on you who had nothing
Trying
to
to
do
fire
with this.
people.
They choose to textbook racism, link you with another criminal, a
Right.
black man, and you're going to sit here and tell me you're not racist. That is textbook racism. And this isn't just about Burns. This is about this community, this
Correct.
larger
This movement.
yes. And so this is exactly, I mean, it could not have been laid out
No.
any
I mean,
more
well,
clear.
Rob, you would almost have to be a fool to not see the connecting dots.
Yeah.
Like you almost have to choose to not connect the dots, which is what they're doing. But sadly, so many folks and you had that brilliant post. So many folks don't realize they're helping them not connect the dots.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. And we've talked about, Democrats and, that applies to Democrats too. There's Democrats
Absolutely.
who are upholding white supremacy, intentionally and unintentionally, right? Oh,
That's right.
that's not a real thing. And we've talked about, well, why do you talk about, why you talk about race? Why you talk about white folks so much on here? Because we're fighting white supremacy. This whole
Right.
thing is white supremacy, right?
I mean,
It's a top down, it's a top versus bottom, but they've got us looking right to left because of white supremacy. White supremacy is for them to stay in power. And
This
we're
is why
not. That's not us. It's Robert Burns, you broke bitch. You don't.
Right.
Like
You're not the 1%.
you don't like Trump. Don't know you.
No, and never will.
Pick me.
Never will. Thirsty girly.
So
And this is the problem with like the idea that oh, you go ahead. I was having a train of thought. You go ahead. Sorry.
no, but I'm just saying, and this is for for anyone listening to this, and I know a lot of our listeners are already involved, and a lot of what we say doesn't apply to them, but they know somebody. There's other people in the Democratic Party, that people who want to watch this, people who need to hear this, right? And I'll tell you right now, this fight right now is they're trying to control your speech. They're trying to beat you into submission so you can't say anything. Because you didn't mourn Charlie Kirk the right way, they're going to find a way to punish you. They're going to hit up your job. And you start
apologize
asking,
and apologize. Apologize to them. That's what he wants, is an apology from me.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously, yeah. Well, apologize for what? You've proved it. You've proved it through the timeline. The timeline is there. So if I was him, I'd be worried. And from a legal perspective, by the way.
And he also just said too,
and
he also I just sent it to you, or I said it to you earlier, where he said, "Oh, prove he still hasn't apologized for calling me a transphobe," and then like the SpongeBob 5 minutes later, and then like reposting Elon Musk extremely transphobic post. Like
and wait, he has a history of targeting trans people in his social media and targeting trans people in this very community, saying that they have a mental illness, saying all kinds of things, that they're behind the violence when they're shooting 2 weeks ago. So they're like, that's an opinion, but it's also a factual opinion, right? So if you want to come defend yourself, then have a dialogue like a man. We're past that, but we're past that. You know what?
We're well past, like,
because you sit here.
Invite is revoked. I'm sorry, Robbie. Maybe you could do it. Invite is revoked on my end.
And so he again.
My son telling me this morning, Dad, are you gonna get killed today on Mom's birthday? I don't really give a shit to talk to that guy that caused those conditions to be set.
Yeah, he's not a man. He's on the internet like a a high school
A troll.
loser, a groper, a grope, what a
A
gropey,
groper. No,
groper.
but is
He
he a
might be a
groper
groper.
or
He
is
could
he?
be. He could
Which
be.
one
You
is
can
it?
see
He
there's
could
a
be a
trend
groper.
of Republicans in North Carolina who have been
He
found
could be a grouper too,
to
which
be
is a fish.
pedophiles because they project. They have this fetish for pedophiles, going after pedophiles.
Right. And they come to find
I
out
think
that
I think
the Republican.
even his friend Michelle Ball said, "Hey, we should check your phones." Talking about the city council, so maybe they do need to check his phone.
And then they come to find out that there's the article that came out that in red states has the highest amount of trans porn watched. Femboy, T girl. I mean, it's like so. It's all projection. The conservative ideology is nothing but unexamined sexual repression. That's
Yeah,
all this is.
but
This is why they're so obsessed with other people's genitals. Do you got a penis? Do you not got a penis? Did you have a penis? Then it was gone. Is that black penis going into someone else's white vagina? Is that vagina not making enough white babies? All they care about are other people's genitals.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
That's the whole ball game because they're afraid the white race is not replacing itself, even though whiteness is a social construct and completely made up.
Yes. To finish my point for Democrats and whatever left, liberal, I don't care. And those especially who are milk toast in the middle, who oh well, you didn't have to say you don't care about Charlie Kirk or so on and so forth. Look, that man that we posted earlier or in the beginning of this episode that said that Republicans need to die. Absolutely, he needs to be prosecuted. He needs to be fired. But there are people who are,
or at least investigated. At least,
there are people who are reposting Charlie Kirk's words, saying that,
right,
talking about empathy, talking about black folks, whatever, and
talking about acceptable gun deaths.
And that professor was fired for that, And so all these companies that are going out and firing, I want to know what you're firing these people for. I want to know your company. And we need to start holding them accountable. This fight right here, this is exactly part of the plan. They want to control your speech because what happened 2 days ago? They said, well, we're going after immigrants and we're going to revoke your status if you say anything ill of Charlie Kirk. Anything ill. So what? Like I said, if I said Charlie Kirk, had a weird face,
was a racist,
are they going to come after me? Charlie Kirk was 120 wet, pounds wet. Is that qualify? I don't, you know what I'm saying? And they're going to take away your residency, your right to be here, maybe in your citizenship. But that's where it starts.
Well, I don't know if you heard the news today.
Did
you heard the news earlier today about the passports?
No, I haven't. What's that?
Yeah, so that they introduced a bill that it will allow Marco Rubio to be allowed to take your passport or revoke your passport status based on, you guessed it, what Ram just laid out, your speech.
Oh.
It started with we warned you last year under Barack Obama, under Joe Biden. These are fascist tactics saying, oh, you can't say this, you can't say that. And they're using the same fig leaf of anti-Semitism, but it's not going to stop. It's not going to end with Palestinian stuff. It'll go to, oh, Charlie Kirk was this hero. This is why he's going to have his own holiday, just like MLK. You say anything bad about him, you cannot leave. Me and Ram have had this discussion in this quasi debate on this show. Where he's like, when we're talking about kind of leaving, and I'm like, well, who said they're going to let you leave? This is how you get there. When people ask, are we in a fascist state? I'm like, I don't know if we're in a fascist state right now, but I know one thing: you have to go through this moment to get there.
So this is a fight that because in a year from now it's going to be dissenters. And so I don't know, did that passport thing, did that apply to American born citizens?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you told me,
well, I think it's like edging in with people who are naturalized.
Either way, they got to start somewhere. They got to start somewhere.
Right.
That's my point is that if you do not fight, this fight is at the people's level. This isn't Chuck. You can't blame Chuck Schumer. You can't blame Cory Booker. You can't blame Hakeem Jeffries. Why when the Democrats coming to save us? This is something that's in your control as the people. You can hold companies accountable. You can stand for something and say, look, I'm not backing this person's free speech. He ain't said nothing. If a job decides to fire you, okay, they have that prerogative. But if your government starts coming after you in retaliation, that's the First Amendment. right? And so that's what's in jeopardy right now. They're slowly closing in on all of these amendments, right? Whatever they don't want you to have. And I remember I
Right.
told you, like, you know, at some point, hey, this is before, I think before even Trump came in the office. I think it was like after one of our episodes, and I said, look, I'll just move out the country. And you said, well, what happens if you get stuck? What happens if they don't let you leave? And I said, damn.
They're fortifying the border for a reason. I know someone that did. I think they're on the outskirts. I think they just moved to Germany. Um, a lot of shit in there with that comes kind of like okay,
Yeah.
but the point is, your point is, but a lot of people don't have those resources to do that, and we're at a point like when in Ruth Ben Ghiat's book Strongman, she talks about when people usually flee one authoritarian, tyrannical, totalitarian regime, they usually run to another, and they don't realize it. So folks like I'm leaving, going to Germany. The alternative for Deutschland came in number 2 in the elections. The modern day neo Nazis.
Mm.
We did get a glimmer of hope with Bolsonaro getting charged with and convicted in 27 years for an attempted insurrection. That's what it looks like when you hold, fascists to account. But unfortunately, America is too fixated on look at the blacks, look at the queers, look at the browns to hold our own criminals to account.
Yeah. This shirt I'm wearing, democracy, fighting fascism at home and
The double
abroad.
V.
What's the point of fighting fascism abroad if we're not fighting fascism at home? We're no longer fighting fascism abroad. We're actually encouraging fascism abroad. And that's a scary thing. They like fascism has been in America, but fascism, they are actively trying to bring fascism to the world. I'm gonna play this Elon Muskrat's latest
Elongated muskrat.
he was at there was a UK festival where they had all of their I don't know what they called them. I mean, they were still white supremacists, but I don't know what they called what they identify the party. But
Nazis.
they call it the yeah, that's the easy way to put it.
Right.
So I'm gonna put that up here. Get that going here. Oh, wrong screen. Give me 1 second. Oh, that was right. Web content. Sorry.
And then you see how much violence there's on the left, with our friend Charlie Kirk getting murdered in cold blood this week, and people on the left celebrating it openly. The left is the party of murder and celebrating murder.
I just want to pause it there.
Insane.
This is the left is the party of murder, and this is the richest man in the world with the biggest platform in the world, saying that the left is a party of murder. Remind you, the president earlier this week said he doesn't care about bringing the country together.
Nope.
And so if you, as who are listeners, and these people within these Democratic parties, even especially in Union County and abroad, don't find the need to fight this,
it's gonna get worse.
It's already going to get worse, right? But
it's going to get harder to fight back.
It's going to be harder to dig our way out of this, right? Because, and we've told you, I mean, Project 2025 also told you what the plan was and how this progresses, right? I mean, we've been talking about, we're in a soft civil war. These things are about to happen. We weren't saying go out and start the civil war. We were saying these things are about to happen. So, like, when I see Charlie Kirk getting shot, like clockwork, I didn't think it was going to be necessarily Charlie Kirk. But I do know that type of violence was going to happen, and I know that it will continue to happen. And they're trying to bring it to us people, us ordinary citizens.
That's right. To fight each other.
They're not tamping down the timber. You can't just say these things and expect nothing to happen. There was a quote, and I wish I had it. I wish I had prepared it. But you can't just say these things and wipe your hands and say like, "Oh, well, I had nothing to do with that." You can't,
Well, that's what Burns is kind of trying to do.
You can't put the guns in the neighborhood and and just walk away and just say like, oh well, now the people are getting shot.
Right. Well, I mean, but that's kind of what Burns is trying to do, right? Like he's trying to say that this black man that looks like these other black men that we're all emotionally whipped up about, whether it be the one on the train or the one that you just showed before me with the other faces, um, they want someone to do the job. They want someone to extrajudicially kill that person.
Mhm.
And how do I know that? Because that's how mobs talk. You ever watch The Sopranos? They're never like, go kill Tony, with the fish hook and, throw his body in the pier. What do they say? They're like, hey,
Handle it,
Tony,
handle it,
handle him. This
handle him.
guy, he's causing a problem. Tony, I don't know. He shouldn't be. I don't know if I want to see him tomorrow.
Yeah, and he wants somebody to do that because he does.
Exactly.
He's not going to do it himself. He wants somebody to do it because I truly believe that this man would love to see you
Hmm.
dead.
No, no, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I believe that. Me
yeah,
personally, I believe that. He's never to
no, he
be
never
clear.
said
He's
that. He's
never
never
said
said
that. He's
that.
never said
Right.
that. That's what I
But
believe to be true based off of his
because
actions. This trend of
Well, I
actions.
found just I mean, let me add this little extra piece there. I found out that like one of the daughters of one of the folks on the city council had posted something about Charlie Kirk. Again, very similar. Nothing like, oh, Charlie deserved to die, but like I'm not gonna mourn someone like Charlie Kirk who spread vitriol and violence and hatred throughout his life. He posted their picture on his Twitter. The person on the council got in his ear and he took it down. Now, why didn't he do that with me?
Mm. So I'm gonna finish this clip, and you can see how I haven't seen anything like this from uh, any Democrat or left person that mattered. We talked about that whoever that person was at the beginning, like some random Joe Schmo.
Yep.
But I haven't heard any calls for violence from. Anyways, let me finish this.
I mean, let that sink in for a minute. That's who we're dealing with here. That is who we're dealing with. Um,
And the
and
thing,
then you
Ro
see how
Khanna
much
was like,
violence there's on the left.
we got to
With
try to
our
meet Elon
friend
Musk
Charlie
in the
Cook
middle.
getting murdered in cold blood this week, and people on the left celebrating.
Oh my God, did you hear Charlie Kirk passed away? He's actually gone.
That's a good video. We should probably go out on that one.
Oh,
But
I don't know which one that was
before,
gone.
but I had a few points here that I mean, thank you for addressing him on the front end. I'm going to address him on the back end here. Um, Robert Burns has made my weekend a living hell. Because I do not want to mourn someone who said black people are fatherless people, or who said that people that look like my mother, my wife, and my daughter that I'm raising, and your daughters and your wife, and the people that we love lack the brain capacity, the brain processing power to be in any positions of power, and they stole a white man's spot. I don't want to mourn someone that says that gay people should be stoned to death, or that there is some sort of reason we should stone gay people, or that we should accept mass death and public executions need to be fast, they need to be public, and they need to be in front of children so they know that there's consequences. I mean, I don't need to mourn that person. You can mourn that person, and really that tells me more about you than it does about me. And on top of that,
Mhm.
if this guy was really just this, he's not racist, he's not, homophobic. We got plenty of reels and reams and clips and snippets of all his racism. So if there was lots of clips and snippets and reels and reels of all his things saying he loves black people and he really respects women and he just wants to move the obstacles, the systemic obstacles out the way for queer people to thrive, I would be convinced. But we don't have any of that. This is why when these people are trying to eulogize him, they're saying, well, he believed in himself. He was a Christian. He was married. Like those are not qualifiers. That's not like 90% of the people in this country, right? Like most people are Christian in this country. It's the most practiced religion in this country. There's I think 48% of people in this country, or 48, the 60 something percent of people are married. Most people have children. I mean, these are not things to say we need to revere this man, because guess what? Those kids that were shot the same hour he was shot are the children of someone who's married. They're the children of someone who cares about somebody. So like this whole false equivalency that, well, this is why, because they know they don't have a leg to stand on. And on top of that, he's someone that likes to say, Robert Burns, he likes to say he's all about the kids. I'm all about the kids, man. These kids. Are you scared? Are you hurt? Are you angry? Are you frustrated? The kids. But at the same time, my kids today, Daddy, is that car? I was helping my daughter. She learn how to ride her bike right now. Every car that was creeping up, we were looking, and then one car, it was a big old pickup truck, and we know what big old pickup trucks with white boys driving them means to us as black people. We're like, Ironically, had to do a 3-point turn in our driveway. My heart sank. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's a real story. My heart sank. I said, is it now? And I was out there with Ava on her with her training wheels, and I'm like, they would do this now. And
At
of
least,
course, it didn't happen. Person turned around, but he had the snake. He had the "Don't tread on me." I saw that sticker. I ain't gonna lie. So that he doesn't care about my kids and them not having a father. Um, Also, he's out here still boldly lying, still saying, I'm trying to kill him with no proof. Anybody that takes him serious as a mayor, anybody that takes him serious as just a person, just consider that. Why should we listen to any of his policy prescriptions if he would outright, with no evidence, say someone of a more vulnerable group is trying to kill them? Why would you listen to him about his policy on, like, the pipe system in Monroe? Why would you listen to him about, making sure the tax, code is what? Why would you listen to him? And then lastly, my third point.
Oh, no. Before you get to, let me just remind people and remind the media, WCNC especially, to your
Oh yeah, we
point.
didn't get to
To
that.
your
Yeah.
point, why would you listen to him? That the person who has been censored by the Republican majority Monroe City Council. Why would you listen to the person who had a vote of no confidence earlier this year by the Republican conservative majority of the city council? Why would you listen to Robert Burns and take his
At
word for it?
all?
So
Seriously, at this
as
point,
the WCNC, and I put you on notice
shame
too.
on you.
You have your own
Shame
notice
on
too,
you.
and you also
Shame.
can be held liable in the defamation suit, and it's also journalistic malpractice, in my
Malpractice,
opinion, to
man.
not go out to get an opinion. The article
Ask
itself,
ask me. Right.
so.
But
Um,
no, but and then my last point was, and this is the same man
mhm.
that was proud to stand next to Mark Robinson, who
Oh,
said,
some folks
"Some
need
folks
killing.
just need killing." And this was a man who lost the governorship for North Carolina because he was performing white supremacy for an audience that yearned to feel like they weren't racist because they was being told from a black voice. But as we tell people, tokens get
Get mad at
spent,
me if
and
you want
yeah, just a refresher for people. Go ahead.
Mhm.
to. Some folks need killing. You know, there's a time when we used to
All right,
meet
that's
evil on the battlefield.
That's it. That's
And guess
enough.
what?
Okay.
You don't got the context. What
I,
context is that?
they want everything, even the empathy in context. And I said, well, first off, the
He didn't
context.
say that like that.
So
Oh,
first off, I actually, when somebody had said this is in context, and they said why he prefers sympathy and compassion, that wasn't even a real thing, because I was like thinking, well, the context, now that you put it in context, nothing's changed.
nothing's
So
changed.
he literally,
Right.
matter of fact, what you're telling me is that he didn't actually possess empathy to know what it felt like. So if you
That's
think
right.
empathy and sympathy are the same thing, then
They're
you
not.
might need to look inward and figure out why you don't actually know what the difference between the two are. And it's probably a
That's
lot of
right.
reason why you're feeling the way you feel. And
Correct.
you should probably look into that with a qualified doctor or therapist.
That's right. And not only was it Mark Robinson who again lost handily, but another loser. Because we forget, Bobby
Oh,
Burns was damn near a loser himself. It came down to a coin flip. So let's not act like he has this overwhelming support and mandate within North Carolina or Monroe. But also Michelle Morrow, who
yeah.
ran for the superintendent, right? The school
So
board
yes, so the public super, what is it, the school
superintendent. Yeah, yeah,
public instruction, and it was against
yes,
Mo Green. So before I moved here, I found out she was running. I knew who she was. I said, oh,
crazy lady.
I was like, that's what I knew I had to put in work. Is she said, um, so here was what she said. She's also spread falsehoods, and this is again
No,
the you know let's see where she said exactly in here. So besides, she's also again promoted QAnon conspiracy teacher
What?
theories, saying that teachers are groomers. Plus,
No.
LGBTQ stands for pedophilia.
Come on.
And then she also called for. Let me see if it's in this article or if I have to find another one. Here you go. And 4 years ago, she said that former President Barack Obama should be face a firing squad, which she
That's
later
not that's okay. That's okay.
which she later said was a joke.
Yeah, duh.
So yeah, I just thought I'm just gonna
You don't joke like that?
again, it's the same thing that Burns did. I'm gonna light this fire and walk away.
That's right. That's right. So, and then of course we talked about it last episode, but Donald Trump Jr. posted the picture of Paul Pelosi. My Halloween costume will be a hammer and tidy whities. Yeah. Oh yeah. I forget Michelle Moore. It wasn't just Barack Obama, but it was also Joe Biden and it was also Roy Cooper. Right. So these are violent people, and it's only if you believe that the standard is whiteness. If you believe that white people are always going to tell the truth, this is what white supremacy needs. This is what Robert Burns is trying to purchase in on. Is that someone looks like me with locks? Because this scares a lot of white people. It scares a lot of white Democrats, to be honest with you. This was a problem with me when I was the chair. People weren't able to accept what I was saying because I had a certain aesthetic about me. I didn't dress in a polo shirt when I did meetings. I wore hoodies and I wore tennis shoes, and I wasn't like a middle-aged white man or white woman. And it is really hard to conceive someone telling you about your identity as a white person or a person that believes themselves to be white as a part of a system that oppresses other people. So it was always like, oh, Parron, you're doing too much. It's too extreme. But look, I was right then and I'm right now. I was right then. I was trying to educate y'all to wake the fuck up, to understand that like your silence will not save you. Then of course Brian Kilmeade on Fox News saying just kill them as it relates to homeless people. And they want to say we're violent, but they can't identify any violence. So they'll say, well, you're for trans, kids getting their wee-wees chopped off. Because in a patriarchal society, there's nothing that is more scary or detrimental than cutting off your phallus, right? And that's what they're afraid of. Um, this is why they never talk about trans men. They don't even care. They don't think trans men exist because in their minds it's kind of like that's a step down. Why would you ever, because in their mind that makes sense because of course a woman will want to stop being a woman to become a man. That makes sense to them. But a trans woman to them is like that doesn't make sense because men are at the top. If you were born with these set of genitalia, why would you ever want to do? That's why. That is why. But
So,
yeah, man. But
and one
if we
other,
can finish on the article because I do want to touch on that because it's very important because again, it ran when I didn't. No one asked me. No one reached out to me. No one asked, "What are your thoughts on this?" And that really pissed me off today. So I don't know if they have the actual clip of the actual, or I don't. It's just on live TV, and I played it. But
let's see if
that they're out of pocket like shit with that
yeah.
because they're framing it, and the article frames it as if my actions and Robert Burns's actions are peers, and they are not. And we've already went through the context of this whole episode, but I'm just going to just let you guys know, just if I'm very clear.
Tonight, local leaders here in the Charlotte area are facing criticism after remarks were made about Kirk's death. The former chair of the Union County Democrats, Parron Baxter, is under fire for posts online, and Charlotte-Mecklenburg School Board member Melissa Easley is also drawing some heat. WCNC Charlotte's Anna King spoke to community members split over if folks should face consequences over social media posts.
Within hours of the news that Charlie Kirk had died, posts from local officials began to spread online. Parron Baxter, the former chair of the Union County Democrats, called Kirk a hate monger. And CMS School Board member Melissa Easley posted that she couldn't feel sorry or mournful for his death. The comments quickly went viral, sparking calls for discipline and for termination. Now, some in the community say the line between personal opinion and professional consequences isn't always clear.
I disagreed with a lot of things that he believed in, that he talked about, that he argued about, and stuff like that. However, it was his right to say it. He could do that. It's in the Constitution that he can say that. I don't think someone should necessarily lose their job for it.
While others say the line is crystal clear.
both people have freedom of speech, but Charlie, he was pro-family. And if somebody is going against that, they have the right to say that, but doesn't mean they have the right to be teaching our kids.
Union County Democratic leaders say Baxter's views do not reflect the party's stance, and we're still awaiting a response from CMS. In the meantime, many say the focus should be on how Kirk died, rather than on what people say hereafter.
I don't, however.
So this is very, very disingenuous. Because again, I am not in any elected position. I am a private citizen. I am a private citizen. Trying to use previous Democratic Party chair is like saying previous whatever. Like, okay, I'm not that. There's a current chair. Is she saying that? Is she using her platform to say this is what the party stands? Not at all. Not at all. And Mayor Burns is an elected government official who has power of the pen, that has a followership rooted in his leadership within the government, that has connections with law enforcement, that has connections with government entities, that has blatantly lied on a private citizen to the point they are receiving racialized death threats and sharing of a private citizen's address, where he then goes on to say he's trying to threaten me with it. I mean,
we got a comment in the chat right now. Twilight Zone episode. You better be nice or you're going to the cornfield. So listen. First off,
and these people who are like, I'm not racist.
First off, you're a pussy. You're on the internet, and
it's a bot account.
But this is like account. Who's saying that about you? Just because. So you're gonna sit here and say you're not racist,
right? Let's go to a cornfield because I'm saying I don't care about someone who we played the receipts of someone who tortured my community. I'm not going to mourn them. And the fact that another white supremacist who was further right than Charlie Kirk murdered him, and still HBCUs are getting bombs there. Still, this black man is all over this mayor's. He ain't said shit about Tyler Robinson. Ain't said shit about the man that blew a goddamn hole in Charlie Kirk's neck. But you got smoke for me? Leave black people out of it, you racists. Go find something to do. Go get a suntan. Go get some lip fillers. Go do something with your life besides follow a murderous death cult known as white supremacy. It will not serve you. It does not serve you. You are a useful tool for white supremacy. The poor whites. This is why people are like, it's not about race, it's about class. You cannot separate race and class because blackness was invented to be a perpetual underclass. Look, man, I'm emotionally fraught and I can handle a lot. But the fact that article and that those people, they didn't ask any black people how they feel about Charlie Kirk. You notice that? Two white ass people who are not in the crosshairs of any of his rhetoric, that have me and Robert Burns, we're not peers with what we were saying because the stakes are completely different, right? If something were to happen to him, it'd probably from the right. If something were to happen to me, it'd be probably from the right. But guess what? They would say he deserved it, as Parron Baxter. Then on top of that, there is an asymmetrical power dynamic. You're a sitting person in government. You're a mayor of a whole town. I'm a dude in his office talking to a microphone. I don't have the ear of the president like Charlie Kirk did. I don't have the ear of you as a mayor. You don't listen to me. You just take whatever I say, disregard it, and then say that I said something else.
Yeah, well, we're gonna come after him legally.
And the white girl saying, "Oh, and that's his right to say that. That's his right." Okay. No one. Who stopped? Who canceled him? Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson canceled Charlie Kirk for his speech. He canceled him. while he was speaking. Why the fuck am I in it? Why are black people in it? Because they've always just wanted to purge black. They just wanted to kill black people. That was it. Robert Burns wants to go on a night raid. Oh, he said I want to go on. I've never said that. You are not saying my followers, do not call him an N-word. Do not say we need to handle him. Do not try to say, oh, no, that guy, what's his name? William Gillick, his real name? Oh, no, don't say that. He didn't. And now my kids are worried, is daddy going to be okay? Oh, mister, I care about the kids. Is he going to take care of my kids?
Well, you know, the last thing I'll say is a calling for the people to stand up. And, you know, Chicago is a great example.
That's right.
I told you on here maybe a week or two ago, I said, you know, Chicago's built different. It's not going to be the same. And like I said, I didn't say it was you were going to just start shooting at these ICE or whatever. But what I said was that we built different. We chased Trump out of the city twice, right? We mobilized quick. You know, I know I'm speaking we. That was my home of 35, 37 years. We organized. There was collaboration between, and you know, I saw collaboration between groups, communication set up, a quick response team of the people. Here's what we're going to do if this happens. Here's what we're going to do when it comes in this day. That's community organizing. That's what this moment calls for. That's what these moments call for, right? So if you're sitting here want to give them an inch, right, say like, oh, well, you know, I didn't like that you didn't mourn for him, or, you know what, you didn't care, and you know, tap dance was great because it came to like,
yeah.
And if you want to watch free speech, like you know what, this is what you can fight for. This is something that you can fight for. And that's one time where the
context matters.
Yep, and hold Mayor Burns accountable, right? So you, as a citizen, can pick up the phone, call City Hall, call the WCNC. You, as a person, can write to the city council. You can write to the mayor over email. Which we did. We pointed out, like, and he still hasn't apologized. He still hasn't condemned these violent statements, calling for your death. He hasn't done any of that. What he has done is quadrupled down to basically say that now connect you to somebody who actually did
in LA
call for murdering Republicans, trying to connect you to that in the same thread, saying same with this guy, same with the Union County Democratic Party. I mean, this man is dangerous, and he is exactly why I have been telling you since I've got here that this man is dangerous, not only to Monroe, but to Union County, to North Carolina, to the United States of America, because I could see it. And you want to go give him some benefit of the doubt. You want to say, oh, you know, no, this man is dumb through and through. Last time I talked to him at the city hall meeting, he tried to cut me off at 2 minutes, and I said, no, I have 3 minutes. He said, no, you have 2. And I looked at the city attorney. He said, it's 3. Because he's incompetent. He's an idiot. He's a liar.
He's racist. He's a homophobe. He's a transphobe. And
Christian nationalist. And he
shows us that through his actions.
Yeah, and he's a
That's why I'm not calling him that, because I look at him and I say, oh, white Christian. He looks at me and says thug. He looks at me and says, oh, that person is like this other person, and all these people are like this. And look at this pretty white girl who's by standard conventions pretty, who is under the threat of the, what did Charlie Kirk say? Blacks in the cities. What did he say? Are roaming. Right? So they don't give a shit about her, because guess what? She's a Ukrainian refugee, and Russia just killed a bunch of Ukrainians. So they don't give a fuck. Robert Burns don't give a shit. He cares about his blood and soil Confederate ideology, like J.D. Vance. Well, my grandfather was born. He's buried in Kentucky. Like, they are a blood and soil. That's what the Nazis were for. Blood and soil.
Yeah, this country was built.
And on top of that, I've been here longer than y'all.
Right. That part.
Rom's been here longer than y'all.
Right.
Oh, my family, they're Scottish. Oh, they're from Scotland.
Yeah,
I've been here so long. I don't know.
My ancestors built this country. My other ancestors were on this land before
That's
Columbus came. So, you know, fuck these people. And you know what? And you talk about, you know, patriot. You know, you're not a patriot. You're a nationalist.
That's right.
You're not trying to improve this country. You're trying to tear this shit down.
That's right.
And rebuild some Christian fantasy that's not even rooted in it's not rooted in what they say Jesus was. I'm not going to get into the whole religious, but anyways, I just
Yeah,
one more
but
thing I want to leave you
they
with.
would kill Jesus.
They
A
would,
Palestinian Jew, they would kill Jesus.
yeah, this white Jesus.
They're on the side of the state. Jesus was for the downtrodden. Jesus was for the folks that were the outcasts. Jesus, was flipping over tables with the money changers, right? Like, y'all are the state that pinned him up there. That cross y'all wear, the state put him up there.
Yeah.
You're on that's the side y'all are on, Robert
Yeah.
Burns. You're on the side of the state that lynched Jesus.
So, long story short, we're trying to build a better world. We're trying to, and I don't think that trying to maintain what we had before is not worth it. It's a futile, it's a fool's errand. This country will,
Imagine something
collapse. This country will collapse, not because of us,
Nope.
but because of who you chose to elect and the white supremacy you choose to uphold. White supremacy is stupid.
Very much so. It's illogical. It's
and
ahuman.
It's self-destructive, as you.
It is.
This what happened, and you continue to do it, and it's gonna. It will. The chickens will come home to roost. This country will collapse. You, as a poor white American or whomever you are who supports this regime, who supports white supremacy, it's all going to come to your doorstep.
That's right.
Your
That's
groceries
right.
are getting more expensive. All of these things.
It's because of the trans.
And I wish you luck. We do this out of love for the people that love us.
That's right.
And
as Malcolm X said,
we
love those that love us. We're nonviolent with those that are nonviolent with us. We support those that support us. That's what Malcolm said.
Yeah.
So don't try to spin this. They're violent. No, we're nonviolent people.
We've never called for violence. Never will.
Not once. Can't find the thing is they can't find it. Dancing on the grave. I'm gonna be happy when a racist dies who was saying that my brain doesn't work.
When Trump, they're gonna try to fight. They're gonna try to fire half
they're gonna
the
be
world.
really hurt.
They're gonna try to fire the world. It's like working overtime when.
Oh man! Whenever
Trump
we get the big beautiful obituary, it'll be
and to be clear, to be clear, when he passes away of natural causes,
or whatever.
But again, he was shot by his own people.
Thank you. Be your own people.
White supremacy again is stupid.
If y'all knew black culture,
and it's self-destructive, and that's a quote from Awaj Ali, by the way, which I love, and I'll keep on saying it because it's just happening true, and so
right.
We're just messengers. I
just want to say before we head out of here, thank you for everybody that has reached out to me. I mean, while I was on this right now, I've received 3 different phone calls, multiple text messages, and I was going to the gym yesterday, and Friday. Excuse me, I was going to the gym Friday. This is like all the shit was still fresh, and people were reaching out, and I remember people jumping into my. This is before I made the video. This is where people were like. Jumping to my comments defending me because like there's a bunch of right wingers that Robert Burns got whipped up to find my Facebook page, and people who I haven't talked to in years were jumping in like, nah, Parron's taught me so much. Parron has educated me. Parron's been 10 toes down. Parron's unflappable, and I didn't know people thought that about me. And I actually did not go to the gym. I actually pulled over and started crying in my car. And just because like you feel alone. And it kind of like this, you feel alone. Then you got people who are ostensible allies that are like trying to make kissy face with the people who are like, kill that nigger. And it's like, so for people who I know, white, black, Indian, all different backgrounds, different religions, like, no, Parron's a real one. Parron, that means something to me. I'm not saying that's why I'm doing this, but like, I just want y'all to know if you're still listening, thank you so much. That means so much to me. I didn't know I impact so many people the way that people were telling me. And while people were coming in like, nah, he blah, 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 blah. And it just, I'm getting emotional now because it's like, what more do y'all want from us?
This is real life.
This is real
fucking life. Burns over here thinking it's a game. It's not a game, And this is a man with empathy. I'm talking about you. You're a good man, right? You're smart. You're knowledgeable. Yes. Like you are a leader, you are a good person, and these people over here are trying to gin up and bring people on, like so, and it's ridiculous. This little troll of a mayor is just online trying to stir up shit, and dangerous.
Yeah.
It's very, it's
but thank you all.
Dangerous. Yes, thank you.
It's very dangerous. Yes, but thank you all. It's just It means a lot.
Yeah, one thing I forget to mention. So we started. I started an open collective, which is for Radical Roots to take donations. I started this back in May. I didn't actually publish it because Parron and I have been self-funding this endeavor because we're in a blessed and privileged and position to do so. And we will continue to be, but as we prepare to embark on this legal action and do other things that we want to do in the community. If you want to chip into that, that's available. It's on the website, radicalroots.us. Donate and all that. It's appreciated.
Please do.
Thank you for those who have started to donate since we posted it yesterday. I actually forgot to mention it. Also, like, subscribe, follow, share with your friends. One last thing, somebody said it will collapse, talking about the country, because we adopt each new medium for public discourse, which further deconstructs our ability to critical think. This is unequivocally the both sides issue that both sides ignore.
I don't know. I honestly, I don't have the emotional to try to okay, you stop using the $11 word when a quarter one will do. What?
Yeah, they want to dumb it down
because systemically, there's never been black people that have just been lying about white people.
It's not both sides, by the way. We can sit here we can sit here and have an hour and 45-minute conversation that is a intellectual one based in knowledge, one based in truth, one based in facts that we back up. And we can have these conversations. We're not afraid to talk about race. We're not afraid to talk about religion. We're not afraid to talk about politics. The same things I say on here, I'll tell you in person. I'll go to the council meeting.
But I'll
have a conversation with friends. I'll have a conversation with acquaintances. I'll have a conversation with a neighbor I never met. I have no problem with that. I stand on what I say.
That's right.
I don't mourn this motherfucker. I don't give a shit about you, Robert Burns.
And you can't
I'll
make
say
me
that.
mourn
I'll
him.
say that. And there's nothing wrong with me saying that.
You can't make me mourn him. Same way you don't mourn George Floyd.
And I love my people.
That's right.
And I'll stand 10 toes down. So that's it.
Folks, thank you for tuning in to the Radical Roots podcast. We know this was a long Sunday episode. Usually we try to keep this at an hour, but there was just a lot. And this is a heavy time. And we deserve better. Monroe deserves better than Robert Burns. Honestly, Robert Burns deserves better for himself.
Yeah,
if he loved himself, I do feel I pity that.
His brother, supposedly his brother, reached out to you. Can you mention this?
No, I mean, supposedly this is his brother.
Supposedly, allegedly,
this is supposedly, and this is on my. He wrote on my Instagram, and he wrote. I'll read it here. I hate this shit. I hate this shit, and apologize for my idiot brother. I can honestly say my brother does not belong in politics. He barely made it through grade school. Watching him cry online from this was just embarrassing. Just know the Burns family does not approve of Robert's actions, statements, or vain cravings for attention. My brother is thirsty, but doesn't need attention. He needs the water of the Lord. Don't feed the wolf. He loves that kind of attention.
Yeah, I've also heard that his family.
And I said, and I responded, I said, it's been a lot. Thank you for saying this. And he said, no problem, man. Keep your head up. And I gave him the fist emoji. So it's not like, oh, can I use you? Can I get you to get like, the thing is, we're not on that.
Yeah. And again, allegedly his brother, will say that. And,
right.
But also, I've also heard that his family does not really approve of him at the very
That sucks.
So,
that must suck for Robert.
And he has, I think those type of things can affect you when you.
It's a lot of unexamined unprocessed trauma.
Yep. So, all right, y'all.
All right, guys. So y'all have the great remainder of your weekend, however long it is. Yes, the Double V campaign, democracy is my shirt representing Black Smart Proud. Just thank you all. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Don't back down to these fascists. Don't back down to these white supremacists because they are afraid. All of this, remember, all this is just the death rattle of white supremacy. All this hatred towards HBCUs and black people and people of color. These are the race cries of a dying ideology. So thank you all. Please have a great remainder of your weekend. Stay safe. Do something kind to yourself. And we love you. And we will see you next time.
Peace.